Yes, it is time to celebrate because there is a brand new, very cool bike path that runs through the new expansion of the Portland Art Museum. It's called the Rothko Pavilion, and it opened on Thursday to a big crowd and big celebration, of course. Technically, the Pat and Trudy Ritz passageway, this thing is a triumph. It's absolutely beautiful. Everybody in Portland should be proud of how it shows our commitment to bicycling and walking and this important cultural institution, which is the Portland Art Museum, and this really massive expansion, which allowed them to connect these two buildings that were previously disconnected. So accessibility at the museum goes way up, and now they have new gallery space, and it's just way better for everyone. But I think a lot of people have forgotten the history of this project. The museum actually never wanted this tunnel to exist. When the plans first came out, there was a lot of concern voiced by bike and walk advocates, by folks that lived in nearby condos who walk around downtown a lot. Here's that original design that they first put out. Notice there's no tunnel. It was closed. This new Rothko Pavilion would have, yes, connected those two buildings, but it would have also closed off what had been a public easement through the plaza that had existed since 1968. When these plans went public and as word began to spread, I started doing stories about it. People were like, no, you're not going to close this plaza out. We want this easement to have really unfettered public access. You've got to do something better. Museum officials came to a bike advisory committee meeting with a compromise plan, trying to say that non-paying museum members could still come through, but they'd have to get off and walk, go through a door, walk through the actual lobby/gallery in order to get to the other side. But people have been walking and biking through this relatively unfettered since 1968. It's a way to connect between Southwest Park and Southwest 10th, and frankly, people weren't having it. The museum realized they had a problem. They had to do better. So I think it took over a year or so for the museum to finally come back and say, okay, here's the plan, here's a tunnel, we think this will satisfy everyone, and it did. So today we have this amazing tunnel, but don't take my word for it. Here's Portland Mayor Keith Wilson, who happened to be walking through it as I was there on Thursday.
It's extraordinary. This is what you talk about as far as urban living, where you bring like the active transportation into the actual cityscape. It's what really makes a community a community. You look to your right and you're actually in a museum while you're going down a city street.
I mean, he's not wrong. Biking through here, it gave me the chills as I rolled through this just beautiful, beautiful piece of civic architecture/transportation infrastructure. But wait, there's more. On the park blocks side, there's this beautiful new bike parking area. I noticed it's called the Barbara Boers Brady Bike Bay, and I just happened to meet the woman who it's named after, who donated the money to build this. She's a museum patron. She also happens to be a very avid cyclist who's logged over 130,000 miles with the Portland Bicycling Club since the 1980s. And here's what Brady told me when I met her on Thursday.
I'm a cyclist, yes, cycled for many, many years, and I wanted people to have a place to park their bikes so they didn't have to drive their cars in downtown Portland, including myself. So I've decided that I'm going to have to get some dressy black pants so I can bike up here, and if I get a little grease on them, it won't matter.
She seems just as excited about not just this important expansion to the museum and its galleries and its accessibility, but to the tunnel and what this means for biking and walking downtown. Back in 2013, when I saw the Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam for the first time and that awe-inspiring tunnel that goes under it, I could have never dreamed that my own city would create something almost just as cool right here in Portland. So I hope you will do what Ms. Brady said she's going to do and get down there on your bike, check it out. This is something to be proud of. I'm just so grateful for all those activists who spoke up in the early stages, who helped me understand why this was an important story, and to the folks who got the museum to see the light at the end of this tunnel. Get out there, ride it, walk it, enjoy it, and I'll see you on the streets.